trick question. How much time in the last week did you spend just looking for something? Not building, not creating, not serving your clients, just hunting. Scrolling through Google Drive folders, digging through Slack messages, opening Asana and then ClickUp and then Airtable and then your email and maybe your text messages because you genuinely can't remember where you put that one thing. That right there is what I call the where is this tax, and it is costing you more than time. Hey there, my friend. I am Ellen Shinky. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. I know I'm in a different environment this week. I am dog sitting. The pup is back there somewhere. But this week we are talking all about the where is this tax and how you can set up your systems to avoid it. Let's go ahead and dive straight in.
All right, my friend, let's get something straight. This isn't a you problem. This is a system problem. You are not scatterbrained. You are not bad at tech. You didn't fail at Asana or ClickUp or Google Drive. Those tools didn't fail you either. What failed is the architecture. You have no retrieval rules, no maintenance rituals, and that means every single time you need to find something, your brain has to solve a mini puzzle. Where did I put this? Which tool? Which folder? Did I save it or just bookmark it? Was it in Slack or email or via text? And here's what nobody talks about. The puzzle doesn't just waste 5 minutes. It fractures your focus. It spikes your nervous system. It is death by 1,000 paper cuts. And by 2 p.m. you are fried and you don't even know why, okay? Think about it like this. And I've been sitting with this analogy a lot lately. Imagine you are an athlete and every single play, someone moves the field on you. Like mid-sprint, the goalpost shifts, the sideline moves. You're not even sure what field you're on anymore. That is what scattered tools feel like. You are switching fields mid-game. And if you are switching fields mid-game, you're going to lose. Not because you're not talented enough, but because your environment is chaos. So let's break down what this tax actually costs you, because it wastes time is the obvious one, but I think it goes so much deeper than that. Yes, cost number one is time. This is the obvious one. Studies show knowledge workers spend almost 20% of their work week just searching for information. That's nearly a full day every week gone, not to strategy, not to client work, just to the question, where is this? Cost number two is decision fatigue, though. Every time you open 3 apps trying to find one thing, your brain is making micro decisions. Which tool, which folder, which version, and decision fatigue is cumulative. By the afternoon, you're not just making bad decisions because you're dumb. You're making bad decisions because your brain has been solving retrieval puzzles all morning. Right? Like poor brain. Cost number 3, though, is missed follow-ups. This is the sneaky one. When things live in 6 places, stuff falls through the cracks. The client email you forgot to reply to, the invoice that slipped, the content idea you had at 2 a.m. that's now buried in a notes app you haven't opened since. These aren't character flaws. These are all system failures. And I think cost number 4 is the one that really gets me. Trust erosion. When you can't find your own stuff, when you are constantly feeling like things are slipping, you stop trusting yourself. You stop trusting your business. You start second guessing everything. And that is where the invisible burnout lives, not in the hours you are working, in the constant low-grade stress of never being sure if you are on top of things. So here's what we're going to step into. And again, I've been leveraging this athlete analogy so much lately because athletes, great athletes specifically, don't wing it. They run reps, they have plays, they know exactly where to be and when. And your business operation needs to work the same way, in my opinion. The fix isn't often a new tool. It's not switching from Asana to ClickUp to Monday to Notion. The fix is 2 things: retrieval rules and maintenance rituals. So when I say retrieval rules, what do I mean? Retrieval rules answers one question: where does this live? And it's not like a where could this live? Where does it actually live? One answer every single time. And I don't know why, but when I say this, I think of like keys. Do you have a place when you get home where you put your keys? And that is where your keys live. That is a retrieval rule. And we all know that when you don't put the keys back where you normally put them, it wastes time. It creates stress, right? It's the same thing here. Here's what retrieval rules look like in practice, okay? Firstly, one home base. Every type of information has one place it lives. Client documents, one place. Content ideas, one place. SOPs, one place. If it can live in 3 places, it lives in 0 because you will never find it consistently. Rule number 2, though, can mean naming conventions. This is an unsexy thing that I think nobody wants to do, but it changes everything. When your files, pages, projects follow a predictable naming pattern, your brain can predict where things are instead of searching for them. That's a massive cognitive difference. When I am naming content in my content system, I usually name it with the hook, because that is the thing that I'm often searching for when I search back through my content system. I also will often link things back to the service that it is associated with. So even if I forget like what I named that task that has to do with updating my Burnout Proof Business program, I know at the very least it is linked to my Burnout Proof Business service. I know it's probably going to have BPB or something like that in its name. That is a consistent naming convention that I can rely on. And I will definitely say that I think the one that I am probably the worst at is probably the naming convention, personally. It's hard when you're adding things on the fly to be like, what's my convention? But I definitely think it's something that you can train yourself to do over the time. And honestly, if it were me, I would probably go in and maybe have Notion AI help me come up with a naming convention and rename all of my existing like projects to actually stick to that convention, you know? But then rule number 3 is one source of truth. If information exists in 2 places, one of them is wrong, period. Like we've got to pick the source and we've got to link it everywhere. Stop duplicating it. I actually found this is one of the biggest things that has occasionally made my Notion systems in particular a little overwhelming, is I'm putting multiple pieces of information in different places. Like if I have a document, for example, that details my ideal client, I probably shouldn't have 2 documents, one for like tutoring and one for my business. I should just have one document that describes both. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming. It gets confusing for me. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, let me show you a little bit of what this looks like in real time. If I go into my Notion system right now, and actually this is a great example of it. I'm working on a rebrand right now. Every single thing related to my rebrand is on this page. Literally, like tasks that I want to actually do, the meetings I have had with my rebrand strategist, shout out to Becky, general brand ideas that I come up with, brand language that I might use. I've even gotten it down to the point where my brand strategist, Becky, sent me this voice memo and I literally transcribed it and I dropped it in here. Movie quote inspiration, shots of Pinterest boards, photo shoot ideas. These are all in the rebrand. I also started to find some that I needed to have a better system for keeping track of like all of the various freebies that I have created over the years. So what I actually did is I moved them all into like my templates page. Even the opt-ins that aren't actually Notion templates, I have as opt-ins at the bottom of this page. So all of the potential freebies and opt-ins that I'm using are all in this place. Another thing that I've been doing a lot of recently, I've been very actively involved in various different summits to help make sure I don't overcommit myself and do too many summits, which I'm literally learning in real time because I did overcommit myself. I made a campaigns tracker, and every single time I join a new summit, I add it to my campaigns tracker so I can keep track and make sure I'm not overcommitting myself. If you saw that for March, you know I am overcommitting myself for March, but this is something I learned in real time that I needed to create, right? So these are all what we mean when we talk about retrieval rules, okay? Part B, though, is maintenance rituals. Retrieval rules get you organized, but maintenance rules keep you organized. Because here is the ultimate truth. Every system, no matter what platform we're talking about, no matter who we're talking about, every system degrades when you don't maintain it. Every single one, without fail. And I think of this maintenance ritual as kind of like when athletes review game tape. Like they're not just playing the game and they're moving on. They study what happened. They adjust the plan. They run reps on things that broke down. I actually think that campaigns example was a great example. That was a system that broke down. That was something I noticed about myself, that this was not necessarily working and I needed a system to better wrangle that. So I created it, right? Our business, our lives need the same thing. And yes, part of how I do that is my weekly reset ritual, which if you are on YouTube, you see a lot from me. If you are on the podcast, you maybe see less of, but you've definitely heard me talk about. This is the weekly reset ritual, the CEO Power Hour. And it's one of the most underrated things I think you can do for your nervous system. Okay. I'm going to very quickly go through my weekly reset ritual and kind of talk through it here. But what I want to really heavily point out is the maintenance aspects of this things. here's what a weekly reset ritual could look like, okay? Maybe it's about inbox zeroing your capture points, like whatever came in this week. Maybe it's notes, maybe it's ideas, maybe it's emails, maybe it's voice memos. Process them, put them where they belong. This is part of the reason why I'm inbox zero girly. Is it because of the fact that I feel like I need to have a maintenance ritual or otherwise I get overwhelmed. I try to do the exact same things with my text. I don't really like to go to bed at night with unread text. Fortunately, I don't get texts enough to feel like that's going to happen. Another maintenance ritual can be pruning dead documents, or maybe even cleaning up your PC, like archiving what's done, clear your recycle bin, delete what's irrelevant. If you haven't touched something in 90 days, it's probably not a reference document anymore. It's probably clutter. Another thing we can do is to check our active projects. Are they current? Are the next steps clear? Is anything stalled that needs a decision? These are all things that are maintenance. And then resetting for the next week. What are the new priorities? What's the game plan? It's not a to-do list of 47 things. It's the 3 to 5 plays that you're running this week, okay? So that is it. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen to give an even closer look to what this can look like. Though for those of you on YouTube, you see a lot of this, so we're gonna make it very, very quick, don't you worry. So in relation to goals, whenever I go into my weekly review, the first thing I see is the overview of my goals, the projects that I'm currently working on. And yeah, when I look at this right now, I probably have way too many projects happening right now. But you know what I'm gonna go ahead and do? I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna change my filtering properties. So for example, I don't wanna see things that are on the bucket list, and I don't want to see passive projects either. I really only want to see the projects that are active right now. And even the ones that I'm looking at, I could probably go in and prune these. Like, yes, I'm actively working on this. This really isn't a thing until later. So I'm going to change this to not started. This is also something that's kind of not started yet either. So once I go through and I prune my projects on my planning dashboard, it makes it a lot easier. Even when I look at like this week's tasks, I've definitely been accumulating tasks and I probably need to go back through and prune them. So that is something that is kind of, because I can see it and because I can see it in my weekly review, I'm able to stay on top of pruning those things down. Another thing that you'll see that I'm always doing as well in my reset for the week, and again, this is something that I have learned over time, is something that I really need to build into the weekly review because this is a reliable, consistent practice that I do, is I go through my task inbox to make sure that nothing is missing. I go through my notes inbox. I do brain dumps. So all of these are like little maintenance rituals that really make sure that things are not falling through the cracks and they're not being forgotten about. Literally what I have learned for myself, because I've been doing my weekly review ritual for so long, is if I want to make sure something happens on a consistent basis, if something is falling through the cracks, like for example, checking my task inbox used to be something that would fall through the cracks for me all the time. I build it into my weekly reset and my weekly review ritual. Okay. So those are just some ideas of what that can look like. All right. So now that we've kind of talked about this, let me give you a quick way to figure out where you are at with this. I've been thinking about this in terms of like varsity ops versus JV ops. And before you roll your eyes, okay, hear me out, because this framework has been really clarifying for me and for my clients. Okay. JV ops looks like your information is scattered across 4+ tools. You have no naming conventions. You have no regular review, and you have this constant anxiety, and you have the constant anxiety of, I think it's somewhere. Varsity ops looks like a single source of truth, a retrieval rule book, even a simple one, and a consistent review ritual. That's it. That's just these 3 things. Okay. So here's your diagnostic that you can ask yourself. All right. And I want you to actually answer this. How many places could your most important documents live right now? If the answer is more than 1, that's your starting point. That's the field you need to clean up first, okay? And the outcome metric that we are looking for, and the way that you know that this is working, is, can you find it fast? And can you trust it's current? So there's kind of 2 sides to it. Can you find it fast? Can you trust it's current? If it's yes to both, you're running varsity ops. If not, we've got some work to do. Okay. And even there's some aspects of my systems that are not perfect. Like we literally just saw me, if you are on YouTube, go through and kind of audit the stuff that was in my projects list. Now, it didn't take much to get it current, and that's how I know like I'm getting where I want to be, but I was able to absolutely find things fast. If there's anything that I know I can count on personally in my system, I'm going to be able to find it fast because it's probably going to be in Notion. Like I've literally even got to the point where I save bathroom codes from like frequently attended coffee shops, or like the access information for how I can get into the co-working space that I go to, or like I'm dog sitting starting tomorrow as I record this, and all of the information for dog sitting and staying on top of that is literally in my Notion. I know it's in Notion. I can find it fast. Can I trust it's current? Sometimes things fall out of being current, and sometimes I'm putting things into my Notion as reference documents that probably are junk and don't need to be. So there's definitely some aspects of the is it current that I definitely am still working on and I'm still kind of optimizing, but I know I can find it fast. That's something I know I can count on in my systems, okay? So here's what I want you to do this week, okay? Just one thing. I want you to choose one home base for this season of your life, okay? I don't care if it's Notion. Obviously, I love me some Notion, and a lot of you guys who listen to this podcast are Notion users. I don't care if it's Notion, though. If it's Google Drive, if it's a filing cabinet, whatever, pick one thing. Okay, pick one place where your most important information is going to live, especially business information. And I want you to commit to it for 90 days. All right, don't switch tools, don't start over, don't reorganize everything from scratch. Just pick the home base and start building a retrieval rule book for yourself. Even if it's a single page that says client docs go here, content ideas go here, SOPs go here. Build the rule book before you switch tools again, and then run the same plays for 90 days, because consistency beats complexity every single time, and your nervous system is going to thank you.
That is it, my friend. That is the end of this week's. That is all I've got for you in this week's video. If you liked what we talked about, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any questions or follow-up, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. And if you really want to figure out how to start building these systems for yourself, be sure to head in the link in the description and join my school community. It is getting a massive level up going forward. We're going through a bit of a rebrand right now, and I am legitimately so freaking excited for it. So I want to make sure you are there with me. So if that is something that is interest to you, you want those behind the scene pieces of content, a little bit of a deeper dive into really how to build those sustainable high performance systems for you, for your business, go ahead and join the school community at the link in the bio. And with that, I will talk to you next time. Bye.